Well, we've arrived, our final show of what has been an exciting season for us here at Single in the City. Going out on a high note, we'll be delving into the topic of romance, why it's important, how to be good at it, and how to get it back if it has dwindled. Our guest tonight is an unconventional one for sure, but will no doubt have some valuable insights into the often talked about and often misunderstood realm of romance. He is so hot and so highly sought after that his name and likeness have to be protected. Let's welcome Mr. Romantic.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. Congratulations on this being your last show.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. So what is Mr. Romantic?
Mr. Romantic is a man that wants every woman to feel beautiful, sexy, and special, regardless of their age, their look, their nationality. Every woman is desirable in their own way and should be treated that way.
So we've got you in a witness protection program type identity concealment here. How is that important to your persona and what it is that you do for these women?
Every woman has a fantasy of their man. So by me wearing sunglasses, I might not be their ideal fantasy. So I just want them to listen to my voice. And every woman that has listened to my voice has created her own fantasy of her perfect man or lover.
Okay.
Yeah, so we want all the ladies at home to close their eyes and just listen to Mr. Romantic and forget that Patrick and I are even here.
Actually, I'll do the same. Go ahead. Keep talking.
So what are some acts of romance?
Romance is a beautiful thing, and couples need to be more romantic. So acts of romance would be going on a nice dinner date, or going away for the weekend, or having a jacuzzi together.
Now, is it the man that always has to act upon this?
No, it should be a two-way street.
Okay.
Also walking in the park or walking down the street holding somebody's hand. I think
Making out with them in the bank like you do.
Absolutely. I show affection anywhere, any place, anytime. And I think that's what's missing, because everywhere I go, I like to see people, watch people. Nobody's holding hands anymore. Nobody's kissing. Nobody's touching.
Why do you think that is?
I think because everyone's stressed in their lives. I think, you're stuck in traffic. Some people are stuck up to 2 hours in traffic. They come home, they're tired. The children, if you have children. Stress is a big part. The world is a very, very busy place today, but you always have to make time for romance. And there's always time to be made if you really want to make the effort.
Now, you would have picked up some keen insights about women here in Canada being the very first, here's some trivia for everyone, male phone sex operator in the country. What was that experience like?
That experience was almost 20 years ago, and I still remember it to this day. It was incredible for many reasons. I worked from 12 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the morning. I had my days to suntan, swim, and go shopping. And I had the most beautiful pleasure of speaking to over 800 women across Canada, and I fueled all their fantasies. And then I had an article written about me by Valerie Gibson, who was just on your show, called Press Play for Sexual Fantasy, How a Voice Can Fuel a Fantasy. And it was a beautiful time in my life.
So what did you learn about women? There must have been a common denominator with all of these women in terms of what they were lacking and why.
Yeah, a lot of them were lacking attention.
Okay.
Were they all married, or some? Or?
Some, yeah, some were married because they could call and they didn't know who they were getting at most times. I wanted to make them feel beautiful and special, like I said. I had one woman, I'll never forget, she was in Edmonton, Alberta, and she was an older woman, a little more mature. She called me back 10 more times that night. My minimum was 15 minutes, and she called me back 10 more times that night. And she said at the end, "Thank you for being there for me."
Was she married?
She was married.
Would you consider someone who uses a phone sex operator and they're married, would you consider that as cheating?
I would.
Yeah.
I would, because if you have a problem at home, deal with it at home. You don't have to go on online dating. You don't have to hide your profile. You don't have to call up a phone sex operator. I would. I really would.
So why do you feel that romance eventually dies or dulls, I guess, the longer that a relationship goes on?
That's a great question. And I had on my show a couple of weeks ago how couples were married for 30 and 40 years. And I asked them the same question, how do you keep the fire burning? And they told me, we go on dates together. We travel together. We go to adult stores and buy toys together.
Wow.
He buys me lingerie. We have candlelight dinners. We take jacuzzis together. I thought it was incredible. But again, it gets back to being stressed. I think people can't stop and take a moment to enjoy each other. And that's what people have to do. They have to enjoy each other. You know, I come from a beautiful romantic city,
Montreal.
Montreal. And growing up in Montreal, I would go downtown and see all the beautiful women and men. And I'd go into old Montreal, and I'd go to the best clubs and the best restaurants. It was the savoir-faire of Montreal. It oozed passion. And that's who Mr. Romantic is.
That's where it comes from,
I'm just
right?
not a name. My DNA is romance.
So do you think that modern technology with all the use of our phones, has it hurt or has it helped romance, considering the fact that you utilize the technology of your day very well to establish your brand and help many women across the country get in touch with their...
You lose the personal flavor. I mean, everybody's on their phone 99% of the time today.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was doing it, it was a telephone that you dialed, or you
Right.
pressed a button, if you recall those days. Today, you download an app, you text. I really did not text anybody for many, many years. One woman said to me, would you text me? I said, absolutely not. You might even like my voice if you call me. She called me, and she kept on calling me.
So I often hear women complaining that their men aren't romantic. So instead of getting angry, what can women do to entice their men or get them to be more romantic?
They have to talk to them. They have to communicate with them. They have to tell them what's wrong. Women are more romantic than men, and men don't like to talk about their feelings. So they have to listen, and they have to learn, and they have to speak. And if they do that, everything will be fine.
So you have a CD called the Bubbly CD.
A bubble bath,
The Bubble Bath, sorry.
which is a bubbly CD.
So can you tell us more about that?
I'd love to.
Okay, so we're gonna play it now.
Are so very beautiful. I treasure every moment that I'm here with you. You are the most beautiful woman I have ever known. Quit smiling at me so mischievously. You know I can't control myself when I'm with you. Let me tell you dry.
Okay, so can you tell us more about the CD and what is its purpose?
I created the CD 20 years ago. I just revised it again after 20 years. So I always say great ideas never die. They only stay on hold for 20 years. I wanted, again, to make the woman feel beautiful, sexy, and special. And I wanted them to have their own private lover so they can take them into the car, into the bathroom, into the bedroom, take it on vacation. I sold over 35,000 copies back then.
Wow.
And I heard women say to me, it took me to heaven. It's only about 8 minutes and 25 seconds. They wanted more. So I think I accomplished what I was trying to do. And I'm going to be doing the CDs in different languages, Italian, Spanish, French,
Mandarin.
because it's a universal language. Love is universal.
Right.
And how is it different now, the CD, than it was before?
I added a few things to it, which I wanted to do back then. And
I'm assuming
I
it
wanted-
gets more X-rated than that? or-
Exactly.
okay,
Yeah, when you
okay.
get near the end, it gets more X-rated.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, it does. But clean and classy.
Okay.
You know, it's still romantic. but there has to be a little bit of an edge sometimes.
Well, thank you.
So we'll be back after this message. We're discussing matchmaking with our very own Laura Balota.